I want to talk about mindset. How's it going, guys?
Morning.
So yesterday we took our son Flynn to the speech therapist, and the last speech therapist we had, and she was not good. She suggested we have him looked at for neurodivergent kind of reasons, and it was really interesting. She never did an assessment, like an onboarding assessment. She just got in and she would play with him every time that we took him there. And I went a few times, and my wife mostly did it. But it really didn't go anywhere. And, after like 6 months and she made that recommendation, she didn't make that recommendation based on any sort of analytics or any scoring, or, you know what I mean? There was nothing, just this is what I think. And I want, and I told my wife, you got to pull him out of there, like, because I don't care what she thinks. Like, I want numbers, I want data, I want analytics. It doesn't make sense. She's talking about him not developing, but we know he is. It's just ineffective what she's doing from the very beginning to the very end. So yesterday we go to this first assessment. It was like they're going to onboard him into this new program, and he's developed so much. And your mindset's like, God, like, please just come together. Please come together. Please don't have any, anything that's going to make your life more difficult. And everything came together. She connects with him. He becomes like obedient to her. He's following her direction. He's got a big vocabulary. He's got his numbers, and I was in awe. Like, she was like surprised that we had any issues of anything, like, because he's delayed because he had blocked ears, but it just gave me the chills. Like, everything, you're hoping, you're praying, you're thinking, and then everything comes together. And it's a pretty cool thing to watch everything come together like that when you walk out and you're just, we were so, I was so happy. I had to go in a different direction than my wife, but, and we work with him every day. I work with him every morning. We work with him every night, and he's coming along, and it's like, peaking. He peaked. he did so much better letting a stranger kind of communicate with him and take direction and what color is the bear, put the bear in the box, give the bear some water. And he was doing all of it. He's never taken direction like that from a stranger. So it was really cool. It reminded me of when I was in flight school. I was like really rushing to get this license, and we had scheduled the flight, the written exam and the flight test. And so I go in the morning, and me and another guy are taking the written exam, and then he goes out to take his flight test, and I forgot some paperwork, so I had to drive all the way back to Baltimore, and it was an hour there and an hour back to the airport. But the main part of the story was we looked at we were finally like calculating everything the night before that day, and they realized they didn't teach me the two most difficult maneuvers that I had to do during the test. And one of them was a 360-degree turn at a 45-degree angle without losing altitude. And so we were like, holy cow, that early morning, I had to go out to learn these two difficult maneuvers. It normally happens across multiple lessons. So we go out to the 360-degree turn at 45-degree angle, not losing altitude. And every single time, we did it 3 times. I lost altitude every time. Hadn't mentally figured it out. And then stalls, where you actually fly up until the plane falls out of the sky, and then you control your stall and fly again. So we did a couple of those that I mean, it's terrifying, actually. It's something you don't want to do, but you do it so that you can figure out how to get the plane back under control. And Well, so the whole point of the story was, as I was driving home to get this paperwork and back, I was visualizing the whole time of and correcting the things I hadn't done. And I get back, and the guy who had went just before me landed the wrong way on a runway, and he failed. It's pretty, it was, like, hey, how'd he do? And the guy was all pissed off. He just failed. And I never forget, like, walking out on the runway. My grandfather was a pilot, and I was thinking of my grandfather, and I just got this chill. It was like 100-degree weather out. It was really a bad weather day for flying. And got out there and nailed it. Like, I had visualized it. I'd seen it. I was like, I can do this. I'll make it work. I had 2 hours of thinking about it. Never did it successfully physically, and nailed it. Like, did that turn, had the right, had the yoke at the right angle. So you have to give yourself a little bit of lift, because when you go sideways, your plane loses lift. Anytime you see a plane that's banking like that, you no longer have that lift that the wings create. So a lot of planes, like if you see a plane like making this kind of turn, there's, it's gonna sink. And that was where everything came together. And yesterday everything came together. And but there's a lot of like positive thinking mindset. And I hope all you guys have that kind of day today where everything comes together. Yesterday was awesome. Yesterday was as great a day as I've ever had. And it can, it just made me think of that day where I did my flight lesson and learned the 2 difficult maneuvers like the morning of, and never even got it right physically until the test. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Different.
But Ron, do you feel like the woman that was working with your son, do you feel like also, you had him and she was like the right type of person? Her mindset was also, having him or us being involved with people that have the right mindset also can influence, I guess outcome or experience, whatever, depending whatever
Oh
it's
my
going to
God,
be.
she was great. He stood up on the chair at one point, and he's come a long way in just like a month, and communicating and taking direction from us. But he wanted to jump off the chair. He does this thing, 3, 2, 1, jumps off the chair and falls, and then looks at us. So well, first off, I hired a big real estate, big name speaker coach once, and in our first session, he just started in, and I said, "Dude, you're not going to assess me. You're not even going to figure out like where my problems are. Like, that's the process. Like, you can't." And he jumped right into it, and in 10 minutes in that call, I said, "This ain't going to work for me. Sorry." Like, wait, I'm done. This process. So that's my point. She had this process, and it was amazing what she did playing. She wanted him to come over and take direction. And at first he was being playful, and she played with him, and she built that communication with him. And then she built this trust with him. And then he's got the bear drinking water and putting the bear in the box and doing this and doing all these things. And I told my wife at the end, I was like, I don't know if you realized, but what she did there. But she didn't just sit there and play with him. She actually did a process where she like connected with him and on his terms, and got some communication going, and then told him what to do. And the other therapist just played toys with him every day. Didn't really do anything. Never assessed him. And then made this recommendation that I was like, look, I'm looking at this very analytically. He didn't develop with her because of her. And in the first 5 minutes with this new one, she did something to him where I was like, that he just developed, and she just uncovered this ability. If you like connect and communicate and get some trust going, then you can manipulate into taking direction from you. And it was like night and day. It was cool. But what's so cool about it was, I know it's him. It's a little different than like the flying story, but I just think there's something to your positive mindset, and you're working on a goal, and you're visualizing it and seeing it and hoping for it, and Rob would say praying for it, and then all of that combined, comes together to, what, he's exactly what we thought. He's a little behind, not by much, but he's funny. He likes to make you laugh. Like all of these things came out, and because going into it, I thought, okay, she might agree that he needs to be looked at Kennedy Krieger or something, but she's like, he's normal. He's behind because he had blocked hearing, and he's hilarious.
Good news, man. That's good news.
Oh my God! Yesterday was a great day.
Yeah, congratulations, and I can hear your enthusiasm too. So that's awesome, bud. And the other thing I want to say is you talk about visualizing, and trusting, and processes, right? And it's like, I just go back to it's all about systems. Like she had a system, a process which she applied, and she had success because she had a system that she trusted. Right?
Yeah.
And like I go back, I might have said it on this before, might have told you at lunch one time around like last year, after the end of the first quarter, I was down, or we were down 40% in units, right? I'm like, Rob, just trust the system, trust the system, trust the system was my mindset. My mindset was just trust the system, it's all going to work out. And boom, by the end of the year, we were up 5%. So it was just a matter of mindset and trust in the system.
And sticking to the system, right?
Yeah.
Holding yourself accountability shows up in all these areas, right? Like create the system, but hold yourself accountable to using it. Compound effect by doing it as you should be, and commit to that. And I mean, yesterday was just last night or 2 nights ago. Yesterday morning, I was up all night. It was like a crappy night that turned into an amazing day. And as crappy a night as it was, I'll never let like a bad night define my energy. I mean, it takes me a while to, get out of a night where I didn't get any sleep, really. So
well, it sounds like you didn't need to drink coffee today. It sounds like your energy from last night carried over to this morning. No caffeine for you.
My takeaway there, though, is that you also made sure that you had the right people on your team, right? Like you made an important decision, and you had to top grade your team, and you had to make a decision and move in the direction, and and you did, and you improved the people around you, and you got the results. You didn't give up on that, so you still trusted the process. That's awesome.
Well, it was funny because I could see how you could have parents that would say from the first recommendation he should be looked at, kind of thing, where people would be in denial, like, oh no. But look, I was a coach for years. I believe highly in proper onboarding and analysis and assessment of where things are at, so you have a baseline what to work off of. And Jenny teared up. Jenny couldn't even believe how much better it was. And then those kind of things are stressful for her. They are not for me. So we had good conversation later about, I was like, I don't know if you saw, but there were like multiple instances where she like developed him, like through technique and through trust building and through a process that she was going to change the way that he was responding to her, because you want to be able to say, tell. I mean, he's communicating and he's good and his vocabulary is good and he's got small sentences, but the more like, hey, go do this or give me that, the sort of back and forth with direction, and it was really, and it was amazing compared to where it was. and the development in that session was amazing. So I don't know. I just thought about, even at his age, you can tell he's trying, but more so on my end, like the mindset of just hoping, praying, thinking, planning, proper analysis of what's happening, like you said, making the change, getting somebody that's like dramatically better, and then just watching him bloom was just an amazing moment, just like when I passed my flight test. So I hope you guys have a great day today. Hope you have a good
Great mindset.
Yeah, because without it, you don't know where you're going to end up, right? Well,
Right.
I would say without that mindset, you're going to end up somewhere not great.
Yeah.
Agreed.
See you guys tomorrow.
Okay, man.